In this revising orders lesson, we'll cover how you set up change order processing. After you complete this lesson, you should be able to list some of the key setup steps for change order processing. You should also be able to explain why processing constraints matter. In addition, you should be able to define the order attributes that identify change, which are also called change attributes. Finally, you should be able to configure compensation. With each lesson, we have reviewed this graphic which represents the wide range of functionality provided by the order-to-cash flow. Each topic touches on these functions, including upstream and downstream integrated applications. In this lesson, we focus on the task involved with setting up change order processing. Change management is one part of enabling order orchestration. As the graphic shows, orchestration also covers order promising, orchestration process definition, and the branching conditions that determine which steps run. It includes pause task and wait steps, along with status management. Orchestration also supports process planning and jeopardy management so that you can track and respond to risk and execution. It handles fulfillment line splits when lines need to be divided during processing. Finally, orchestration includes deploying the orchestration process and managing holes. Change management setup includes several key pieces. Processing constraints define who can make changes, which changes are allowed, and at what point in the process those changes can happen. The compare change order to fulfillment value parameter lets a web service or file-based data import update fulfillment line values even after an order entry specialist revises the sales order in the order management work area. The global order promising to calculate date changes on sales orders profile option helps keep sales order dates synchronized with the related purchase order dates. You also define the order attributes that identify change, which are often called change attributes. When order management detects a change to one of these attributes, it triggers compensation for the orchestration process. In addition, the orchestration process definition includes specific change management attributes that control how change processing behaves. Finally, you configure compensation patterns, which are the rules that tell order management how to compensate each orchestration step when a change occurs. Our first topic covers change management and processing constraints. The screenshot shows the edit order attributes that identify change page. It also highlights that the order fulfillment line attributes section includes task level parameters that apply across all orchestration processes, along with parameters that are specific to a particular orchestration process. To navigate to this page, start in the navigator and select Others, then open Setup and Maintenance. In the Setup and Maintenance work area, select the Order Management offering. Next, search for the Manage Order attributes that identify change task and select it under the Orders functional area. Finally, on the Manage Order attributes that identify change page, click the Edit icon. This screenshot shows an example of a processing constraint. In this case, the constraint prevents any user from submitting a change order that updates the supplier attribute after the fulfillment line has reached ship status. To get there, go to the navigator, select Others, and then open Setup and Maintenance. In the Setup and Maintenance work area, choose the Order Management offering, and then search for the Managed Order attributes that identify change task. Next, we'll talk about comparing a change order to fulfillment values. You use this parameter to let a web service or file-based data import change fulfillment line values even after an order entry specialist revises the sales order in the Order Management work area. If you set the parameter to Yes, Order Management compares the attribute values in the revision to the values in the imported data to determine whether the user made changes. If it finds differences, Order Management replaces the user's revisions with the values from the import. The next topic discusses change management attributes on the orchestration process definition. These change management settings are configured at the orchestration process level. The first setting is Change Mode, which controls how often order management captures a snapshot of the orchestration process state. If you set it to None, changes aren't allowed. If you set it to Simple, order management takes a snapshot at the start of the process and again when a change order is received. If you set it to Advanced, order management takes a snapshot at every step. Advanced mode uses more service storage because it creates more snapshots, but it typically delivers better performance, so it's usually the recommended setting unless storage is a concern. Another setting is Cost of Change. This is a rule that generates a value that an order capture system can use to determine whether to submit a change order. The value is exposed through the Get Orchestration Order Service web service, and the order capture system can use it to block changes above a certain threshold. The cost of change value isn't displayed in order management, and it isn't stored. The slide also shows that global change parameters appear in the orchestration process header, and additional change parameters are available at the step level on the Step Definition tab. If you enable Use Transactional Item Attributes, order management includes item characteristics such as color or size when it decides whether compensation is needed. If you enable this option at the step level, those attributes are evaluated specifically for that step during compensation. If you enable Use FlexField Attributes, order management also considers extensible FlexField values when deciding whether compensation is required, and you can apply that evaluation at either the process header or the step level. Continuing, the next topic explains ordered attributes that identify change. Some changes don't require compensation. For example, if an order entry specialist updates the sold to contact ID while the orchestration process is on the ship goods step, that change usually doesn't affect execution, so there is nothing to redo. Other changes are more significant. For example, if the inventory item ID changes while the order is already in a shipping task, you typically do want to trigger compensation so that orchestration processes can be adjusted. Order attributes that identify change, also called change attributes, are the attributes that trigger compensation when they change. These changes can come from an order capture system or from a user in the order management work area. You define and maintain these attributes on the Manage Order Attributes that identify change page. Some attributes are selected by default and can't be removed, but you can add additional attributes based on your business requirements. The screenshot highlights how the setup is organized. It shows the task type designation, the data objects in the orchestration components section, and the fulfillment line attributes in the order fulfillment line attributes section that can drive compensation. Also note that if you enable Use FlexField Attributes on the orchestration process, extensible FlexFields can't be updated on split order lines that are created from partial shipments. This limitation is similar to how change attributes behave for split lines. Our final topic discusses the concept of compensation within change management. Compensation is how the orchestration process adjusts when an order changes. When you design an orchestration process, you decide how each step should respond if a change comes in. By default, order management compensates a step by simply updating it with the new information from the revised order. If that default behavior isn't enough, you can override it for a specific step by assigning a compensation pattern. A compensation pattern is the rule that tells order management how to handle a change for one specific step in the orchestration process. This lesson includes a student